We're back. Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. And we're moving now into our second segment. This one, of course, dear to a lot of folks because everybody have got somebody, or you could think about, for the most part, people who have got family members who are living with cancer, who are suffering with cancer. This one is actually with a parent and his son. His son was diagnosed with leukemia. And that individual is actually Ellsworth Andrews. He is the parent. Also to join us this morning is Heather Renault, Senior Administrator at the Belize Cancer Society. And Ellsworth's son, Brighton, is joining us, and he's Christian. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
You know, guys, this is a topic dear to me. I've lost one of my best friends to cancer. Exactly where I'd like to start, Ellsworth. Ellsworth, what is this like? What's the feeling? Talk to us about your situation.
In 2019, Christian got diagnosed with leukemia cancer, and we got to the hospital and they told us that he had only 3 days to live.
Wow.
And when they told me that, it's like basically all the blood poured out of my body, everything. I just got weak. You know, I didn't know what to do, where to go, anything. And I have to say, thanks to Miss Heather, she found me. Only God knows how she found me, you know, and she called me. I met up with her. You know, when I met up with her, I was emotional wreck. I couldn't even speak good.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hold up. Tears was running down my face.
Yeah.
Instead of she greeted me with a hug and told me, "Don't worry, Mr. Andrews, everything will be okay. We'll take care of the situation. We'll have your son get well. Keep on praying. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep on the fight, you know." And I mean, that was 2019. They said 3 days he got to live. We're here today still.
Wow.
Christian is
He's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy. But Ellsworth, so how did you find out? I mean, you did mention in 2019, yeah, but at the same time, what were the events leading up to for you guys to actually go in to do a checkup?
Well, that was in June, but in April we did check up. They said nothing was wrong. In May we did check up. They said nothing was wrong. And in June I went to work and I came home the evening and I saw the left side of his face, you know, swollen. So I asked him if he hit his face at school or something, and he said no. So I asked him if it hurt or if he had any pain. He said no. And later on that night, the opposite side started swelling up too. You know, so I said, you know what? Let's go to the hospital. We went to the hospital. We met a doctor, Dr. Garcia. And as soon as she saw, she's like, you know what? I could almost tell you what's the problem, but you know, protocol, we have to do all tests and stuff. And she did that, and like in 30 minutes, she came back and she said, you know what? Your son has leukemia, you know, leukemia cancer. And I was like, what? You know, I didn't know what to do. I just sat there, like, gazed for a moment, and then she said, don't worry, you know, everything will be okay. And he got admitted that same night. Following morning, we saw Dr. Eck, pediatrician, and he started examining him, and he said, you know, we're giving him basically 3 days to live.
Wow. Did he say why only 3 days?
Because what happened is they learned that he had a huge tumor in his chest that was pressing down on his heart and his lungs. So if Christian would stand, he would like get real tired, exhausted, like almost passed out. You know, he couldn't make 2 steps without like passing out and stuff due to the pressure that his heart and his lungs was under due to the tumor.
So what
You
happened
know,
afterwards? When you
so
when you yeah, when you heard 3 days, what kind of action was taken? What did you do?
I heard 3 days. Like I said, I start moving around. Then, like I said, Miss Heather got in touch with me, and she gave me certain information that I, had to do certain stuff that I had to do. And with Cancer Society, they have a program for kids that they send them out to Merida, to get treatment and stuff. So that's where it all started. In less than 3 days, in like probably like 24 hours, I just checked him out the hospital, and we got on the road and we started doing a journey towards Mexico. But before that, we stopped at Corozal because he got extremely weak, and we stopped there, checked him in the hospital so that they could stabilize him so we could keep on traveling. We stopped there like 5:30 in the morning because we left Carl Ocean like 3:15. So we stopped like 5:30 at Corozal Hospital. They checked him in. We spent from 5:30 until like 1:30 in the afternoon when he woke up, because he fell in a deep sleep when he woke up. And as soon as he got up, he was like, "Dad, what you doing?" So I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Let's go. I'm feeling good now. Let's go." And we continued our journey to Chitamal, got on the bus, and went to Merida. Yeah.
One of the things oftentimes families face when a family member is diagnosed with cancer is just that emotional surge that comes along with it. How have you been able to find that emotional support to carry on and giving care to your son?
That emotional support, like I said, that support came from the biggest support when it came to that really gave me back a little strength and power to move on with my son was Miss Heather.
Wow.
Uh, man, she's wonderful. She's great. She just know exactly what to say, what to do.
Yeah.
She embraced me with a hug, and as soon as I got that hug, like it's like she passed on some strength to me or something.
Yeah. Additional strength. Yeah.
Yes. And from there on.
Yeah, I want to bring Heather into the conversation.
Yeah.
Heather, what are some of the ways in which the Belize Cancer Society is providing this practical and emotional support to people who are battling cancer?
Well, the Cancer Society has been providing that emotional and that social support for patients. We have been around for 25 years.
Right.
And the pillars of this organization was started by women affected by cancers. And they wanted to find a way to support each other, to share that love, to share that care, to let each other know that the burden you're carrying is not your own. The society is here to take that burden with you and your family as well. So when you enter the society, we don't want you to feel that it is the end of your life, that cancer has taken over this dreaded disease. We have to be that voice of hope. Yeah. We have to be that voice of reason, the patient navigators. Besides giving that social support, we have to ensure that we have you as comfortable as possible to get you to where you need to go, while providing you with the education and the information that you have that strength to take your child or yourself through this journey. Because this journey is not easy. It is not easy by a long shot. Some people might think that, oh, because I have finances or because I have the know-how or I have education, that it will be somewhat easier for you. No, it's not, and everybody's journey is unique. Yeah. And I can, Mr. Andrews gives me cold seat every time I see him. He's an amazing dad, an exceptional father, a partner, a spouse, a son, and Christian is his life. When you see parents coming in here and they fight for their children, it does not matter what it takes. Yeah. Because when a family is diagnosed with cancer, especially our children, all you see is barriers. Barriers to care that we cannot go out of the country. Barriers to care that we don't have a pediatric oncologist in country. But at the Cancer Society, we cannot continue to give you that despair and that feeling of loss or that feeling that there's no possibility. We need to find a way. And that is what we stand on, and on being patient advocates, on being your social support system, because we know what it feels like. And we don't want families to have to take this burden alone, because that's where people are dying, because you're not speaking, we're not being compassionate against each other. So besides what the Cancer Society do, we ensure that we have that compassionate and that ethical and that caring part of our mandate, which is chiefly important, because without that, we cannot do what we do.
Heather, you were given tremendous kudos by Ellsworth, and he did allude to the fact that you actually found him. How did you hear about that story, about his situation or their situation?
Mr. Ellsworth's story keeps me humbled, I should say. I heard about his story. I heard he was looking around and trying to find some support for his child, and unfortunately we could not meet up. At that time, we were running a pap smear campaign for women, trying to get them free screening, trying to get them to learn about the HPV virus and cervical cancer. And I remember we were by Brody's downtown, and we had some tents out there with all the posters and everything. And I remember looking across the street to the bank, and I saw this man standing there. And I saw him standing there, but I could just feel that he has a load on him, and he wanted to say something.
Yeah.
And he was looking at the sign, and it said Belize Cancer Society. And he was looking at me, and I was looking at him, and I guess we just connected in that moment.
Wow.
And then he walked over, and I walked over to him, and I said, welcome to the Cancer Society. Is there anything that we can do to help you? And it was just like he just broke down in that moment, and he was telling me about Kristen, and it just embraced him. All I could do was just hug him. And I embraced him in that moment, and I told him, don't you worry, you keep that faith.
Yeah.
Whatever we at the Cancer Society can do to ensure that your child get access to care, we will ensure we get it done.
This was
So that was Andrew's first meeting.
This was in 2019. We're in
Yes.
2021, some 2 years afterwards. And Christian is today
Yes.
with us. Christian, he's got one of the coolest hairdo I've seen, one of the coolest cuts. Christian, buddy, how are you? Buddy, talk to me. How are you? How are you feeling? What? Tell us. How old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
Wow, 12 years old, Christian. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
All right, all right. You're into sports. What? Tell us about yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
I like sports, and I do like history a lot too.
Ah, excellent.
History.
Yeah.
I do like to paint and draw.
Okay. Wow. You like basketball?
Yes, and football.
Oh, okay. There you go. Because I was going to ask him who is his favorite team, huh? but Ellsworth, 2 years afterwards, your son seems to be extremely strong. He seems to be motivated. Tell us how things are right now and where you're going for treatment.
Things is much better now. He's feeling real good. He doesn't have any side effects, anything, but I guess it's just not because it's just because I don't sit at home just waiting for like the doctor to say this, doctor to say that, and just keep on with just medication and all that. I keep on trying to find natural herbs and stuff, to help him with his sickness and stuff. So he actually is always up, feeling good. It's rare when he feels bad and stuff. And we go to Dangriga every Tuesday for treatment at the cancer center down there. Every Tuesday.
All right. And what's the treatment? What's the treatment like there? Tell us about your relationship with the cancer center in Dangriga.
Excellent. There's Sobin, there's Pauline. They're excellent people. They're great. Nothing but love every time you get there.
Wow.
Can't complain. Can't complain at all.
Heather, can you speak to us a bit about some of the financial burdens that families face when undergoing this type of treatment for cancer?
Well, I have to tell you, there is no one entity or no one organization that can afford cancer. Nowhere in this world. So Belize would be by a very, very short fall. Their cancer costs millions, millions and millions of dollars. And for each family, like I said, it's different. But there is an increasingly hard financial burden on our families when you have to think about your mortgage, you have to think about your light bill, you have to think about your water bill, and then you have an added bill onto it, which is a healthcare bill, as well as your transportation and your accommodation. So these bills they come on you extremely fast. You're not prepared for them. I have seen cancer wipe out families' complete finances. I have seen cancer wipe out people's retirement plans, complete businesses. It is something that you cannot fully prepare for when it comes to the extent of the financial resources. And at the Cancer Society, I have to say that we have been so grateful to all our partners. We have to say thank you to the team in Merida. We have to say big kudos to the Dangriga Cancer Center, to our private sector in Belize. And we have to say a tremendous thank you to Belize Bank, who last year stepped in. Mr. Lyndon Giuseppe, we made a presentation to him because we have a program that we can get these children directly into a hospital in Merida. But the Cancer Society has to support those bills. In the past, we had a grant that we were able through the Social Security to give a basic financial assistance every time the family travels. So it would be able to help them with that basic level of travel support. Since the onset of the pandemic, these funds have exhausted completely. So there is no transportation that we're able to help families with. So that is an added burden for them now to try to locate that transportation.
Yeah.
But then your child is still given that access into the hospital, that we ensure that we cover those bills. And then with the pandemic, it created a very unique situation for us, like in Christian's case.
I could imagine.
We have some children that are doing treatment in country. Because what you need to understand is that when these children are diagnosed, they cannot be treated in country first. They have to go to Merida. They have to go to Merida at least for a year period so they are stabilized. Now, once they're stabilized, we're able to work with the Dangriga Cancer Center that has supported our kids tremendously in getting their treatment in country.
Yeah.
Because last year our borders were closed, our kids had no access to leave the country. So we quickly had to mobilize with the Cancer Center, a local anesthesiologist and private sector. And using Dr. Gabriel's clinic, we have to utilize once a month to ensure that these kids can get an in-country treatment. Now that is also at an additional cost to what we have to support the children in Merida. And we have to say, if we had to purchase all these medication for our kids, we would not be able to do these in-country treatments. We are able to do it through the kind donation and support of some of our friends across the border that help us.
Yeah.
When Mr. Andrews come in, we would ask if somebody could bring in the medication, and Ministry of Health, I have to say, has been so supportive, have been very, very supportive of us getting these medication for our children, supporting them with getting to care. And I should say the Ministry of Immigration, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, when we need to get these kids out of the country urgently, when we need to get that travel approval for mom and dad. Mr. Andrews just had a situation like that the other day, where we had to get a passport in one day for him to travel and get that approval to leave with Christian.
Wow.
So these are things that it has to be a collaborative effort. It is not one organization. It is teamwork. And only with that teamwork and that collaboration and support that we're able to do that. If Belize Bank did not step in last year and gave $50,000 to ensure that every month that these kids go for in-country treatment, which is $2,500 with all the combined costs. Think about 1 year ago and paying that monthly fee. That fund has been exhausted as well.
Heather, you've said a mouthful there, and I could only empathize with families who are going through this, and brings me to ask the question: how often are we seeing new families approaching the Belize Cancer Society?
I would like to say that not often, but the honest reality is that we're having more and more people, and especially our children, and that is one of the mechanisms that we had to figure out to manage some of our children in country. Because the hospital in Merida is becoming overwhelmed with our Belizean children as well, because they're being diagnosed so much. we're having on average right now at least 2 to 3 children being diagnosed a month.
Oh, wow.
So it is something that we need to look at. Our adult population is extremely at risk as well.
Yeah.
Not only for cancer, but for NCDs. And us at the Cancer Society, we have seen a significant increase in our breast and our cervical cancers. And it is something that we need to look at not only as a society, but as a country, as a community.
Yeah.
Because we have to understand that our health is our wealth. If our people are not strong, they will not be able to be productive, or children will not be able to function effectively in school.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we're addressing risk factors. We're modifying our lifestyle, and that is one thing I have to give big kudos to Mr. Andrews. Since his son has been diagnosed, he's one of the parents that I have seen personally take time to research beside the material given to him by the Cancer Society about food choices and drinks and different vegetables that he could give his son. He takes that responsibility on, and he reads up and he finds what type of juices he can give him, what type of natural products and foods that can build his metabolism. And he has cut out the junk foods, he has cut out a lot of, and he prepares the foods. So these are things that we can do to help our children, to help ourselves.
Yeah.
Because remember, cancer is partly genetic, but it is partly also with our environment and our risk factors that we can modify.
Yeah.
Or foods high in salt, high in sugars, high in fats. These are things that we have to start addressing. Physical activity, we need to be active, we need to be drinking more water. We can do things to prevent cancer because, like I said, when cancer comes, it is not easy.
Yeah.
It is not cheap.
Yeah.
And we have to be realistic. More than half of our country is below the poverty line. We have a very high poverty rate. We have a very, very high unemployment rate. For the regular person, insurance is not an option. Yes, for some people they have insurance, but for a lot, we do not have insurance.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out when sickness comes. So the best we can do is try to prevent it. And if you're unfortunate that you have the cancer and we have to deal with it, you have to take informed measures that you can protect your loved ones and yourself. Because if your child has cancer, you can't continue to give them all the juices and the junk foods and the fried foods. You have to make that modification. I have to give kudos to Mr. Andrews. He is one of the parents, like I said, he's very informed. And he tries to support other parents as well. Sometimes he's there in Merida, he sends them a text, he checks up on them. So I keep joking with him and I tell him that he's the head of the parent support group. But he tries to deter me and don't want to take on that post. But I still think that he'll take it on for me because inadvertently that's what he does.
All right, Heather, we're winding down now, and we know that this is Cancer Awareness Month. Yes?
Yes, it
So
is.
what is being done to actually celebrate the month?
Yes, well, we had some activities for this month, and we are doing, like I said, the front of package labeling campaign. We did a webinar with our Belmopan branch, and for this month, we have decided, being that we cannot fundraise for a cancer walk for the past 3 years. We cannot hold a cancer walk, but we'll be doing a 6-month promotion, which will be running from May up until October. So we'll be having our cancer awareness products, or t-shirts, and we ask you to support us in that initiative. Contact us. We have 2 companies, Print Inc. and Dolphin Production, that will be supplying these shirts. They will be providing different designs. And you are still able to do that support. You're able to purchase your shirt, tag yourself, and load it up to our social media pages. So that will be for a grand prize that we'll be giving off in October. And like I said, for the month, our biggest push is supporting healthier choices. We want persons to take better care of themselves and make better informed choices when it comes to their foods. So take a minute to look and see what is in your food and see if that is the healthiest option for you or your family.
Heather, thank you so very much. And let's give final words to Ellsworth and Christian. Ellsworth, what is your advice to parents who might be in the position you were about 2 years ago?
Well, always don't give up. Don't give up. Keep God in mind all the time. Keep on praying.
Yeah.
And, just keep on trying your best. Just do your best, But, like Mr. said, the food, drinks, stuff, that's the main thing.
All right.
It's hard for the kids, but they gotta cut it out. They have to.
All right.
Heather, for anyone who is out there who wants to contact the Belize Cancer Society, what number can they get you on?
Yes, you can reach us at 223-0922, or you can email us at belizecancersociety@gmail.com, or you can check out our Facebook or our Twitter page or Instagram page. You send us a note, and you know Miss Alvarado, Miss Deborah is here. This is our stalwart. She will be the first to answer you and jump on these cases. So we will be here to respond.
All right, Heather, thank you so very much. Final question here is for Christian. What do you want to be when you grow up, Christian?
Doctor.
Wow.
Awesome.
We do hope to, we do wish you all the very best, Christian. Ellsworth, keep up the good work and keep being strong. And of course, Miss Heather, thank you so very much, guys, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us. Have a great day.
All right.
Well, we go ahead and take another break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing with the Wildlife Conservation Society about the illegal wildlife trade week in Belize.